Hey everyone, this video series I kind of want to talk about how to be a good intern. Having done 7 internships, I feel like I probably know how to not be a bad intern. Some of these things I've also already said in previous videos, but I think it's nice just to have like one video of like all the main ideas, at least in my opinion. If I'm missing anything, please just like write in the comment section, and this is like more of a discussion than just like this is how to be a good intern, you know. So initially I was planning on just doing all of this in one part, but then I realized as I kept filming that, oh shoot, this is like going really overtime. So I was like, well, I guess I could section off this series into 3 parts. And the first part is just staying organized. The second part is the social aspect and the networking aspect. Being good with like your team and your mentor and getting to know other people. And the third part is, again, mindsets and mentalities. And I think just like having a good foundation and approaching, if you want to do something well, you first have to approach it with the right mentality. So yeah, I'm excited to start making videos again, and please, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks. So number 1, I want to say that to be a good intern, you should stay organized. So if you look at anything in life, if you want to get good, you pretty much have to be aware and organized, right? Otherwise, how do you know if you're doing like the most optimal thing to get what you want? If you're doing the most optimal thing without being aware, then you're just like being really lucky. But being aware means you also know why you're doing what you're doing. Anyway, so going back to the being organized for the internship, so one way to be organized with your internship is to have an internship journal and a ticket journal. So the internship journal for me, I found is really useful because every day I like give a summary about the day, and then I would say what I have to work on, what I did well, and what I need to like remember for tomorrow. So I guess I could like read an entry in one of my internship journals. So let's say for Google, I wrote, today I was late to orientation. I looked at the wrong bus schedule, just biked to orientation and still boring. However, I found out more Go links and also found out about Go/Grow. I signed up for 8 one-on-one consultations, so hopefully those turn out well. Lol. I also got to speak with Nigel a little bit more, and he said he would let me try his Vive when I go up to Seattle. It was a slow day in general, and I'm hoping to start tackling the onboarding tomorrow. Another, I guess a bigger one I wrote is like, today I started working on my ticket. I also got lunch with the team for the first time. My ticket was kind of overwhelming, but I got more familiar with the tools and the day as the day went on. And going through it afterwards, Dominic decided that it was a bit more complex than he initially thought for a first bug, so he assigned me an easier one. David also showed me how he uses Chromevox and his Braille machine. It's truly amazing how many tools there are for blind people now, and my team is just so nice. Each one of them are such good people. I also finished the 3 Noogler mandatory online courses. At the end of the day, I was able to figure out where to make my changes, got a hearty dinner, and headed home. Right, so basically it's like a journal, and I'll include a template in the description. It's pretty straightforward. I just divide my internships into 12 weeks, or I divide them into weeks, and then every week I divide them into days, so like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and then at the end I have this week, which is like a summary of the week. And then at the top I also like write how many days total. So this gives me like an idea of how much time I have left and how much time, like how finite my time is during my internship, which makes me want to make the most out of every day. So that sort of segues into my second thing, which is having a calendar. So what I do is I would print out 3 calendars. Normally my internships are three months long. So let's say it was October, November, and December. So I would print out all of them and then tape them to each other. So then I have just like this big calendar. And then every day that passes, I would draw an X. And then I also label like starting day and ending day. I find that also helps with seeing that there's only a finite amount of time from an internship. So I'll leave a link to the calendar website I use, but it's like the first result on Google. So the third thing I want to talk about is when you're just starting out in an internship, you're probably dealing with a lot of code. Like you're diving into a lot of code, and you're probably also learning a new language. So initially, you're going to be very lost, and everything you see will just give you more questions than answers. But as you keep like thinking and pondering and looking through the code, you start to develop these like mental models and these little pieces, and they start to connect until you have this like one huge holistic idea and mental model of how the whole code works. How I like to like use Evernote to guide me through this process is I would make notes and just like title them like either as an idea, like maybe login flow, or actually like file names, like I don't know, login page, and then you kind of like walk through the code and write it down so it's like easy to go back to. Otherwise, you think about one thing and you think about something else, and then you forget about the first thing, and then you think about the first thing again, and you're like, wait, I already thought about that, you know. So having something down on paper really like helps me think more logically and more straightforwardly, if that's a word. And yeah, so the fourth thing I want to talk about is the ticket journal. At most companies, you're going to be assigned tasks in forms of tickets. And what I like to do is I sort of put any links, like JIR links at the top. I put the name, and I also write like what I have to do, like the requirements. And then after that, I write, how should I approach this? And then I delve deeper and say, okay, well, I start coding and I hit this roadblock and I have this question. So I have this list of questions, and when I am like absolutely stuck, I would go to my mentor, and since I already have all these questions like prepared for him, it's really easy for him to answer, you know. Otherwise, if you don't have a ticket journal, let's say you're stuck on this ticket, it's time to go home. The next day you're like, oh shoot, wait, where was I? You know, or you have all these questions, like 5 questions, and then your mentor's like in a meeting, and when your mentor finally comes back, you're like, I have some questions, and then you're like, oh shit, wait, what were they? You know, I only remember 3. So yeah, it's just like another good way of like record keeping and also keeping track of your thoughts. So I guess I'll also include a template of a ticket journal, at least the one that I used in the description.